Welcome to the explainer. You know that feeling when you're in a conversation and you just know there's something else being said between the lines? Well, today we're diving into exactly that, the subtle and sometimes tricky art of saying no without ever actually saying the word. I mean, just look at this quote. It perfectly captures what we're talking about. You ask someone for a big favor and they say, let me think about it. What you hear is consideration. What they might actually mean is, I would literally rather fight a goose. It's that huge gap between the words and the real meaning that we're going to unpack today. So, this leads us to the big question, right? How do you actually do this? How do you understand what's really being said? And maybe, just maybe, learn how to use this delicate art of polite refusal yourself? Well, don't worry, we're about to break it all down. Think of this next part as our official playbook. We're going to walk through some of the most common, gotta know phrases for delivering a graceful but firm, indirect no. Okay, first up, we have an absolute classic. You've heard it a million times. On the surface, it sounds so thoughtful, so considerate. I'll think about it. So here's the secret. You hear them promising to think it over, but what it really means, a lot of the time, is, oh, the thinking part is already done, and the answer is no. Someone once described this perfectly as ghosting, but with a smile. And I think that just nails it. Let's paint a picture here. Imagine your coworker comes up to you, super excited, and asks if you want to join a 10-hour bus ride for a team-building trip to a potato farm. Instead of just saying, "Are you kidding me?" No, the perfect, polite response is a simple, I'll think about it. Message received, no drama. All right. Next on our list is a phrase that I guarantee you've not only heard, but you've probably used yourself. It's the simple, "I'm a bit busy." Again, it's all about that unspoken meaning. You hear the word lately, right? And that makes it sound temporary. But in this context, it's often a signal for something a little more permanent, at least when it comes to whatever they're turning down. That lately could very well mean forever. And here's a scenario that might hit a little close to home. You finally work up the courage to text your crush, "Let's hang out tomorrow." And the reply you get back is, "Kinda busy lately." Ouch. According to our playbook, that's a very gentle letdown. It's probably time to move on. Okay, playbook entry number 3. This one is a true masterclass in softening a really, really hard no. It's the incredibly gentle phrase that might be a bit difficult. This is just a beautiful example of understatement. It sounds so hesitant, almost like they wish they could help, but what's really being said is absolutely not. There is no chance in hell this is happening. Get this scenario. Your neighbor, the one with 4 dogs that never stop barking and a karaoke machine they use at all hours, comes to your door and asks if you could be a little quieter. The perfect response? A slow, thoughtful, "Well, that might be a bit difficult." It's how you say no way without starting a neighborhood war. All right, this next one is a classic that you'll find in so many cultures around the world. It's the ultimate polite postponement. Let's do it next time. Here's the thing you have to understand. Next time is not a real day. It's not on the calendar. It is a beautiful, fictional place that you and the other person both silently agree you will never, ever visit. It's basically a pact to just drop the subject forever. And I just love this analogy for it. Next time is like Narnia. It's a magical place that exists in theory, and it's fun to talk about that you will never, ever actually find the wardrobe to get there. It's perfect. So for our last technique, we're not even using words. This is a move we've all seen, and maybe, if we're being honest, we've all done it. It's the ghost fade out, just disappearing from the conversation. Now, it's really important to get the motivation here. That silence, it's not always meant to be rude. A lot of the time, it's actually coming from a place of social anxiety. The thought of a direct no is just so uncomfortable that saying nothing feels like the kindest or at least the easiest way out. And, there are definitely situations where this is seen as pretty acceptable. Like, let's say a classmate you haven't heard from since middle school suddenly slides into your DMs asking to borrow money. In an awkward, out-of-nowhere situation like that, fading into silence is a pretty understandable response. Okay, so we've covered the how, we've got our playbook. But that leads to the really interesting question, which is why? Why do all this? Why not just say the simple one-syllable word, no? Well, the thinking behind it is pretty deep. For one, a blunt no
can just feel aggressive. It can make things really awkward. But maybe the biggest reason is that, in many cultures, it feels like you're not just rejecting the request, you're rejecting the actual person who's asking.
And that brings us to maybe my favorite metaphor for this whole thing. A polite rejection is like wrapping a rejection in a dumpling skin. The filling is still no, but you've wrapped it in something soft, something warm, something that makes it much, much easier for everyone to swallow.
So if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Communication is so much more than just words. Context is everything. And sometimes, in so many places around the world, the most polite, the most considerate thing you can do is be indirect. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've been looking at one particular cultural approach today, but really, these kinds of unspoken rules are everywhere. So think about it for a second. What are the codes, the polite little fictions that shape the way you say no?